the trading post, you must learn. Flip cards, comics, profits you earn. Rookies to legends, we break it all down. Teaching you the hustle that runs this town. Analyze the flips, predict who's hot. Bowman autos, refractors, the chase don't stop. At the trading post, you must learn. Knowledge builds fortune, now it's your turn.
What's up, everybody? It's your Uncle Rob, and welcome to another episode of the Trading Post. Today, I got my man Sam over in Denmark on the line. Sam, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good today. Appreciate you making the time for me, Uncle Rob. Appreciate it.
No, not a problem. I appreciate you. Just for some of the other viewers and other people that are in different countries, we had to make a special kind of scheduling for this. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning over here and in the middle of the day for Sam. But we do what we have to get the word out on the hobby and let everybody know what's going on all around the world here on the Trading Post. So Sam, talk to us a little bit about what you do in the hobby. You're just getting back in, huh? Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's probably been best part of almost 20, 25 years. I've just not thought about it. And then my daughter is 3 and she's in kindergarten. And now it's kind of like the biggest thing that anyone in kindergarten's ever seen. Like they love Pokemon. And she came in home one day and was talking about it. And I have to say, like, my eyes kind of lit up from it as well. Like I was like, yes, I love this. So experimented a little bit with it, making sure it wasn't just something that was a 5-minute thing. So we watched a little bit of shows and did this and did that. And I decided to, maybe get just some cards for her, because for me, what I find is when obviously we talk about stuff, our phone picks up that sort of like algorithm, and makes it in there. And then suddenly I'm finding on my social medias that all these like influencers already and creators that are opening up cards and pulling this card and seeing some of the values on it as well. I'm just like, this is astonishing. Like I never knew cards now were growing so much. So what I decided to do with it now is decided to just put some binders together and just open up some different cards from different sets and stuff like that, and just collect stuff for her. And when she gets older, if she wants to do something with them, then great. If not, then I've got a little bit to play with as well then afterwards. And it's still really fun for me to open up and see all these like new designs and even so many more Pokemon. Like I would have, a month ago before I started this, never would have been able to guess there was over 1,000 Pokemon now in the game. Like it's amazing. So looking forward to discovering all of them. And I have to give like a little thank you as well to like my best mate in England, because I was talking to him about this, and he has already created a master set of a previous thing of like Twilight Masquerade he's done. And he's done that on the process to keep to one side for his boy when he's older. So I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to go for a master set of anything, not right now anyway, but I'll just open some cards and have some fun again. And yeah, just basically put some fun binders together, like for my daughter. And every time I give her some cards, like the common ones, so she can draw, mess around with whatever, she puts them in her little binder, super sweet, super safe, and like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. So yeah, she's really into it as well. And even now, like later on when I pick her up from nursery, she will be like, oh, do we have Pokemon cards today? And so it cheers me up every time she talks about it. It's like it brings me back to my childhood as well, opening up cards and stuff through there.
Yeah. No, I get it. My daughter's into Pokemon as well. She's a teenager, but we still have very similar experience. It's not as much amazement. She's in it for, I think, the value and the ripping. She loves to open packs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something about opening the packs, that
Yeah.
that really
That's one thing I haven't done so far with my daughter, is actually open up a pack with her, because there is still that possibility there could be something really good in there. And if she sees it and likes it, I'm never getting that thing off her hands to keep safe for her. But I think like I've got a few more packs I'm going to be opening up soon. So I think one of them I'll probably end up doing with her. just so again she can get that feeling of it as well. Like says like, oh, Pokemon, oh yeah, and like just going through them and seeing them for the first time.
Yeah. So talk to me a little about the market in Denmark, Europe in general. Do you find that it's very similar to what you see online here in the States, or is there a different focus? I mean, or are there any differences?
So one of the things I've noticed big via my social media is we don't really have scalpers over here.
Mm.
Like I can go into any store that is known for having Pokemon like in stock, and I can go in. Yesterday, I went in to the store and I picked up two ETBs and a holiday calendar, no problem. There was plenty in, like and whereas I see obviously a lot of videos and stuff online about people going to big stores and buying cases and cases of it, don't really have that so much over here. Um, and prices is definitely something that's a big difference as well. So let's take the new Mega Evolution set that's just come out. I'm seeing, and please tell me if I'm wrong, I'm seeing things of like $60 for an ETB, $70 for an ETB over online. Is that right? Like in
Uh,
America?
um, I don't know. I bought a booster um, pack and I paid
Yeah.
$279. And there
Wow.
are
Okay.
and that was on pre-order. And and I went to a shop the other day, maybe about a week ago, and some had come in because I've already got the one that I bought, and I just plan to give that out as a prize because I'm doing a show here soon, and it's going to be part of the prize for the Pokemon contest. So, but it's already three something now, and like you said, the
Okay.
scalpers are making the
Yeah.
demand. It just drives the prices up.
I mean, it helps someone like me, right? Because I've basically just paid a pre-order because it's not even released yet in Denmark. A lot of the sites are releasing it Monday.
Okay.
Some people have done pre-release parties and stuff like that, but Monday is when the general public can buy it. And I bought one for pre-order, and that's cost me in today, in like currency exchange, it's cost me $100 for an ETB of Mega Evolutions.
Okay.
And I always I use the collector app, right, to put any of my cards that are in just to see what my portfolio is looking like.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular ETB, I'm going to keep sealed for now anyway. I've got enough to open for now. I'm not going to rush into opening it. Uh, but that already priced up on collector app for I think it was like $230, and I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't believe how much it had jumped through there. So whatever happens in America definitely influences the prices that we can sell stuff for 100%, but not so much what I'm buying it for.
Mm-hmm.
Like another example, because as I said, I use Collector quite a lot. Is I look at some websites and I'll buy individual cards sometimes. So I've bought previously last month. I bought a tag team card of Charizard and Brixen, and that I paid maybe $50 for. But and that's raw, and yet Collector has already got it at about $95.
Mm-hmm.
And the same now. I've got an order that's come through. It should be here in the next couple of days. And again, I bought a tag team card of Pikachu and Zekrom on there. And again, I paid maybe $50 for it, but Collector's got it down raw for about $140.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it sounds like I'm getting a better deal, absolutely, and especially with no sort of scalping going on around here, I can take my time. Like I can buy one ETB of Mega Evolutions this month. Next month I'll buy another one. Month after I'll buy another one, maybe. And I don't have to worry about getting notifications from stores or online or anything saying this is now in stock, this is now in stock, and racing down to try and get there. It's definitely a lot more freedom. Now, I don't know if it's because it's not a bigger passion over here, um, but or if people just aren't worried about Pokemon. I'm not sure, but it's definitely freedom.
Mhm.
100% freedom. Like there's no stresses. It's like if I want to go and get a ETB of anything, I can just either go online to a Danish website or I can just go down to the local store and they'll pretty much have what I want most of the time.
Hmm. That's interesting. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just go
it
ahead.
definitely seems like America has this big scalping issue right now, and like I don't, I wouldn't even know where to put my 2 pence worth in to try and like figure it out. You know, it's you can't real.
It's
I know some stores are like, hey, two per person kind of thing, but
yeah.
that ain't gonna do anything. Someone will just bring six of their friends or something like that, you know, and they'll still take them all.
No, exactly. No, it's capitalism at its finest. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's what America was built on, and when people see opportunities, they rush at them. Um, so
Yeah,
it your specialty is just simply Pokemon. You don't do any other genres, no sports, none of that.
no, I see and I follow stuff online and stuff, but because American sports is not so much my forte. Like I would say I watch a fair bit of American football, but that's pretty much it in regards to like the American sports that I watch through there. And I don't know if there's any real gain if there's cards for like Premier League and stuff like that, the way they've got it going, you know, I just don't see there's like a high value or even there being a big take in the future for it, something worth looking in now. And yeah, I wouldn't know if uh, sports cards for rookie cards or anything like that personally would be any sort of value if I'm opening it, you know. Whereas I know with Pokemon, um, obviously what the chase cards are, you know, the value of them and stuff like that. And I mean, one of the reasons I probably don't know much about it because I've not dived in to really study it so much either. But and so once I started talking to my friend about him collecting and thinking about it and talked to my daughter about it, my algorithm just started flowing with loads of Pokemon creators, like content creators, ripping. And then, of course, you see all the prices there and stuff like that that comes up. So it felt closer to my wheelhouse, knowing more about Pokemon through there. And it's been easier for me to catch up, I would say, in regards to prices and buy-in and being clear what to look out for on there rather than trying to go down the routes of sports as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. 3 months ago, I knew maybe 4 months ago, I knew nothing, absolutely nothing about Pokemon. When Pokemon was introduced to the world, I think it was in the late 90s, and I was already an
Yeah,
adult. And so I didn't grow up with the cartoon or even the fad. But I will say that the learning curve is pretty short. You can really get into who who the hot characters are, what
yeah,
prices are moving, um, even learning about the legendaries versus the new characters and the sets. So I would agree with you there. Sports, you got to look more into players and stats. There's a lot more research. I am a
yeah.
little surprised though, because there are some people that specialize in soccer, and I would have thought that that might be a bigger thing over there, soccer.
I would if looking at any sort of TCG at all over here, it straight away any if you type it in or anything like that, or a car or a hobby store, for example, online, you type in their TGC what they've got, it all shoots up with Pokemon first. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's obviously packs of other things that people will hold and do, but otherwise, it's straight Pokemon is the highest one I would say that I found anyway over here. Now, there is some. I've looked into when like card shows and stuff would be over here because that's another thing that you have an abundance of over in America, and I see online is like card shows and stuff like that. But I'm struggling to find in Denmark anyway frequent card showing and stuff like that. So I looked into one, and there's a big one called Nordic Card Show, and they do bits here and there, but they haven't got one up in and around my area until April next year. So just after Easter next year, they've got one up here. So yeah, maybe when I go there, I'll see a lot more of like sports vendors and stuff like that as well, which will take me by surprise. But I'm kind of anticipating it to be 70-80% Pokemon, really. That would be my guess. But of course, without going to one, I can't really. I'm speculating at best.
No, understood, understood. That's surprising too. So it seems like the market there is, I don't want to say behind, but definitely different on the entrepreneurial side of it all. It may be more of a long-term investment for many, and it's moving into because the card shows generally have people, in my opinion, that are not just collecting, but trying to use this more like in short-term investments, even, getting cards, letting them increase in value, and then selling them, you know.
Yeah, and if I think you're right in that essence. There is just a bigger community over in America who will have that sort of like want to do it, and the drive to create one. It and as I said, like it might be the fact that I'm just not looking in the right places. There might be one every other weekend up and down the country, but right now I would say they're probably quite small events. They're not really ones that you would you would see advertised without really diving in, I think. But yeah, I mean, like even card shops, apart from general sort of toy stores and stuff like that, there's probably one within an hour of me that is like a really specific card slash like hobby store, which is where I've got my Evolutions pre-order from there. But and they're great. They're like 15 minutes away, so I can always pop into the shop and have a look as well and stuff also. But it definitely feels like it's few and far between in especially where I am in the north of Denmark, rather than say maybe if I was down in Copenhagen, like the capital of much bigger like population and maybe bigger drive for it. Maybe there's more around there, but the justification for me to travel 5 hours down to Copenhagen for a card show isn't really there right now, I would say.
Well, yeah, no, not when you can get stuff online.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
mentioned having bought some cards individually, and
Yeah,
then you buy boxes that you open.
yeah.
What's your primary focus? Are you looking for? I mean, if you're trying to establish something for your daughter, I would think maybe just buying selective cards might be the way. But it sounds like you like opening, or
Yeah.
what's the process
So
there?
so when I decided about a month or so ago to actually start buying cards again, I went on this website and was flicking through individual cards, and she picked one. I got her to pick one for herself. This is like her special card, and she picked like a Nine Tails EX from hang on, I've got it here. Let me just quickly grab it. Right, so she picked this card. I don't know if you can see that good. This was her special card that she wanted,
Okay.
and that was basically because in her words, it looked like Elsa's dog, like Elsa from Frozen.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
looked like it
Yeah.
could be her dog. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I picked one because I like Charizard anyway. I think most people, he's one of their favorite characters through there.
Mhm.
And I wanted to get one, but then I was comparing, as I said before, on value, and as I used collector app as the majority, because that was also what my best friend in England he uses. So word of mouth. This is what I use. You use it as well, kind of. So I use that, and the value on it just made me think, well, why not? Why not get this card? It's not only Charizard, but if I'm buying it for what is $50 and it's worth, well, I think I bought it was like $88 a month ago. Now it's like $96 raw.
Hmm.
Then why not get that? And I only really been looking at individual cards now based on value. What am I buying to what is the market value, and what's the trend on it as well. And again, on social media, you see a lot of people who like to speculate what are the next big 5 cards that are cheap they're going to jump up to as well. So I tend to look at a little bit like that as well. But otherwise, I just like to rip, and the one things I got, a lot of the cards I've got, which have minute sort of value from, was actually from a mystery box that I ordered when I first did this before, and there was just a lot of different like EXs, and there was fossil Hitmonlee in there as well, like some really cool little cards that came through in it. So I'm doing another one as well through there, because my luck at ripping right now, actually, Uncle Rob, isn't that great. So I've not really been able to pull anything too good. So I'm back to just like, okay, I want a little pick me up. Like, okay, I'll buy a good card and I'll get some good cards sent in a mystery box, and hopefully my luck will come again when I go back to ripping. But yeah, I want to have some cards there for her in the future. I won't hand over these binders to her for 10 years or so, until she has a little bit more mindset of what they could be worth, if anything at all, But I'll always keep a little binder for her as she's interested, that she opens and puts in herself, of commons or any, say, duplicate hollows that I pull out or anything like that. You can always have them. I mean, the other day we were putting cards in, and she decided to take almost all of them out of her binder and just throw them like confetti.
Hmm.
But if that's what she wants to do when she's 3 years older, then that's what I want her to do with it.
Right.
But just the other ones that have a little bit of value and potential value to them, just want to keep a little bit safer from her now. So then in the future, she can have them as good as they were when they came out the pack, or as I've received them anyway. So
Yeah. Well, I guess I guess that in alone is good justification for ripping right there. The fact that there'll be enough cards for her to experience the nostalgic value, for her to get attached to some cards and feel the hobby. So I could see
yeah,
that for sure.
as I said, I've not yet opened one with her, just in case there is something mind blowing in there. But every day after I have opened something, she'll come back from school and I'll say, "Do you want some cards?" And she'll like, "Yeah." So I give them to her, like, back facing her, and she'll flip them and go through them as if she's just opened them herself. And they're like, "Wow, look at these!" And of course, they're just 1 cent cards, like common cards. Like, no, they're to anyone who's a trader or vendor or anything like that, they don't mean anything. But to her, they mean everything to her right now. So that's also like a big joy as well, because she'll come home and she'll be like, "Have you got anything for me?" I'm like, "Maybe I've got some Pokemon cards for you." And then she'll take her time and nicely place them in, and she's also paged them in color as well, so she wants all that. And she says when people are angry, or when look cute, and all this sort of stuff. So there is such a warmth when I get to do that with her, like for that reason. And it, like you said, it is one of the bigger reasons as well. Not only that I get out the joy of, the anticipation, have I pulled something big, but I have these extra cards to be able to give to her. And I know a lot of people maybe collect all their common cards and give them back to shops in bulk or something like that for like store credit or whatever. I think people do that. Um, but I don't want to do that. I want her to be able to have as many cards that, even if she wants to take them in a few years to school and trade them. Like they're just common cards that aren't worth much. But if she wants to get something out of it, or someone else could, like one of her friends could have something from it, then it's more worth it than anything else. To be fair.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you pointed that out because I think particularly here in America that people need to hear that there's more to it than just the investment aspect. I mean, that's what people are looking at. I mean, being capitalistic, we tend to do that, but there is another part, the part that warms children's hearts, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and that that does put a lot of value in ripping with your children, bonding with your children, and just bringing a smile on someone's face, you know. So,
100%. And I understand a lot of people, like like I understand their mentality about making money or wanting to think about it as like making good money off it because you can.
mhm,
But it's not the be all and end all for me. That's just my take on the card collection. I will absolutely take the time to look into something if it's worth doing. Like I said, like I found it was worth spending the money on that individual Charizard card and that individual tag team Pikachu card because of the difference of what I was paying for it and what the value is, especially with something like tag team. For that one card, I could spend triple that on just one pack trying to pull it, from Sun and Moon, for example, they're like how old they are now.
right.
So I found that was a good investment for it. And I'm not one to just throw my money away as much as my wife thinks otherwise. I do think strategically a lot about where my money goes. And, I think for something like that, it was worth it. Otherwise, yeah, I, I'll buy something purely on the anticipation. Can I pull something? Can I have the excitement of like, wow, here's something good? And as I said, like it gives my daughter hundreds of cards to be able to just play around and mess around with and do whatever she wants with, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that whole aspect though supports why the Pokemon trend is what it is and the fact that it's around to stay. I mean, it's being passed on from generation to generation because of that aspect, because kids can get involved, parents and kids can get involved together and yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see it. And it's not so much in sports. I mean, my daughters don't like the same sports as me, so there's no overlap there. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay with a father and a son, and you'll see it with baseball. It's really common in some other sports, but for the most part, though, now with the fact that there's more girls being born than men anyway, it's a gap there sometime between the father and the daughter, unless they can bond over something like a Pokemon or something, you know, or some other kind of genre, not sports. So no, I see a big future because of that, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that actually, like because you've done it for maybe you've got into it a couple more months, obviously,
Hmm.
before I have got back into it. Do you see the trend ever filtering or plateauing, or do you think it's just going to grow and grow then from now? Like for what you've seen over in America? Like,
Um, I see I see growth for a while. I mean, with Fanatics involvement and owning tops and all, and as creative as Michael Rubin is, I believe that that trend will go. I believe that some of these other suits will follow by. I mean, they have the inserts, the chase cards, which gives you the same feel as chasing that numbered card, you know, that numbered one of one auto of a great sports guy. So
yeah,
the same, I guess, emotion that happens when a person goes to a casino or whatever, it's always there. And as long as that exists, as long as the products can continue to create that emotion, it's because that's a human emotion, then none of this is going anywhere, you know. Now, the prices fluctuating the way they do, so extreme in such a short time. I mean, at some point, I think that there'll be some controls put into place, just like with anything else. But and they could flood the market like in the 70s and 80s when they produced way too much stuff. And that's the only
Yeah.
thing with Pokemon that I haven't put my finger on it, how you don't know how many of these are out there, but you still have the desire to have it. You know what I mean? You'll still pay
Yeah.
premium for it, and there could be thousands of them. But whatever they created in the marketplace that makes you just want one of them, it's still there. You know what I mean? But I think
Yeah,
that at
100%.
some point they may
Yeah.
need to number those or definitely give a person some kind of gauge of how many are out there to so that value is substantiated. Because at some point, you know, if there's just a bunch of them, I think the value will start to dilute itself, you know.
What's interesting, what I've seen getting back into it, I can't believe just how many sets there are right now as well. Like how many, like going through just what I could have originally looked at, started buying. There seems to be just almost two or three sets every year they're bringing out. And I don't know how long that's been going on for, but it does seem like an astronomical amount. I mean, already since I've got back into it, I think 151 was in the middle of it, just finishing. Destin Rivals has come out through
Mm.
that, as well as Black Bolt and White Flare. And then you've also got now Mega Evolutions as well. So it just seems like there's so much going on in what they are releasing. Perhaps that could be something to be looked at. Like you said, if they oversaturate the market, with it, some people won't know where to turn sometimes,
Yeah.
and
I
but
mean,
then
I think the key is, I mean, I don't know that introducing new products every quarter or semi-annually or all will be as big a problem as, how long it runs. I mean, it could be good for the hobby if there's a print and there's a limited print, and when that particular series comes out, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And then when the next one
yeah,
comes out, maybe there's no more. Now that will make that demand even stronger to get the chase cards from that particular release. But if they're
yeah,
still printing them when the next one comes out and you don't know when they stop printing them, then that could be where you begin to dilute the market.
yeah. I mean, if they ever did do that, then scalping probably would even more so become a problem if there
Oh
was a
yeah.
limited like time
Yeah.
onto that.
Yeah,
That's
people
kind of
would just
something
buy
where it,
cases and hold them. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I mean, especially the only way you could probably look around that is if you could only access it through Pokemon themselves,
Correct. Yeah.
and there's like one person per order, or one address per order, or whatever it was, like that's your limit done, and I know people will find ways around it. You it's instinct to do so and always will be able to, but that's definitely something through that. Excuse me, Alan, stop it. The dog has found a hard toy, and I apologize for that. He's trying to
That's okay.
play around with it like a ball and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, but I mean, those are all challenges that the market will have to endure. But right now, I think that the demand is so great. Um, there's thousands and thousands of people entering the hobby every day, it seems like. So, it's going to be a decade before some of these things actually pop up in my mind. Um, I just think that the trend is just the momentum is just it's like a snowball, rolling
Yeah.
down, getting larger and larger. So,
What
yeah.
One thing I will say, what I have found about the bit since starting back into it is, okay, we know we have like scalpers, it's a problem and stuff. Well, you do yourself over in America, but I have to say the majority of the community actually seem so wanting to help each other,
Mhm.
and supporting everyone around it in it as well. I think one of the things that kind of capturated it to me is when I see bigger content creators online and they do certain challenges or stuff like that where they need help from other people, the amount of generosity that the majority of collectors are willing to do and help with. I think that kind of brings another reason why I like that my daughter has started showing interest in Pokemon and being into that, because it's although there is that aspect, and you'll get it in every part of life, there's that ruthlessness from some people into it. There's actually just some people just genuinely really enjoying it and want to have that experience with other people. And I think that's also a really good thing about Pokemon itself. It's not often you find, as you said, hobbies and collections or anything like that that brings universally everyone together.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that, and that's a perfect way to wrap this up. That's the reason I do this, is because getting back into the hobby, I find that that's what I enjoy the most. The fact that there is some commonality to collectors. There's some feeling that brings us back to our childhood, and it makes me feel like a kid again. It helps me stay
Yeah.
young. And I just bought a comic book collection from someone, and now I'm even looking into, they've got this Magic the Gathering has this Spider-Man series that they put out now. And I'm actually looking into those because I was a big comic guy back in the day. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and it just the like you said, it's a warm community, with the exception of those ruthless people out there, which we'll get everywhere. It is a very, very warm community. And
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm being like you're taking your time out to talk to us about, your perspective of the hobby. And I mean, people are doing it, and I just feel great, man. And I'm glad to be back in. I'm glad to know people like you, and I'm hoping that more people understand that this is more than just a way to invest in a card that may grow in value. It's also a way to touch another person's life, and to build a community, and to feel good about yourself. So
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you on that. And the little bits that like, and each of us can do, I think will only help it more. And like when you're doing your podcast like you are about not only just Pokemon but the different genres, and just bringing that awareness to other people that may not have that perspective yet over it, it might help people look at things a different way through there also.
yeah. No, I mean, this conversation will do a lot. I think the way you and your daughter are approaching this hobby will touch a father-daughter. I wish my kids were a little smaller and I could have done it when they were a little younger, because I think
Yeah.
that it would have been different than what I'm doing with my daughter now. Now it is more about what cards she can find and how much value it can be, because she works and she knows what money's about now. But when
Yeah.
she was younger, it would have been much more genuine and touching. And I think it's a bonding experience that I really wish I could have had when she was younger.
No, sure. Yeah, like I said, just gonna treasure it as best I can right now, and almost stop time for a little while we're doing this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, Sam, I really appreciate your time. This was a great interview. It doesn't sound like you're in this to do a lot of selling and all, so I don't know if you have a logo or anything or a website you want to send people to. I usually close that way. But at least share your social media so people can see what you're posting. Um, and I mean, you post your dog and your daughter so cards. So I know that, and it was kind of cool how you put your dog in there with the Pokemon.
Yeah, for sure. So like the only thing I've looked at doing, and because I'm not huge personally on social media myself anyway, but I have my Instagram set up, which is at Allan's Pokédex. And yeah, I wanted just my dog to be the face of it instead. I'm to be fair, this will be one of the few times I probably actually put my face on camera. To be honest, just
Okay.
because there's that sometimes having a mystery behind it. I mean, I might change in the future, but it's not about me per se. Like I said, it's about the connection and the wanting to do something with my daughter through there. And I also find that people are probably more like relatable when they have pets and dogs and stuff like that, you know. So and he's a lot cuter than I am, so it's easier to put him on the picture and make a caricature of that rather than put myself on there.
Gotcha. All right. Well, look. Thanks again for spending this time with us and sharing your story. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. No, thank you so much indeed. I appreciate it, Rob. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.